Ladies and gentlemen, this is Frank Donga. You are already listening to Boom Radio. Just leave the dial there. Settle down. Listen to it. Open your ear. Don't touch it now. Boom Radio. Live and direct. Frank Donga in the building.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is Boom Bar right here on your Boom Radio and G. I bid you warm welcome to the bar today. My name is Alajaloko, the one and only, and it is such a very nice feeling to be back here again. How was the weekend? I hope the weekend went well for most people. I hope a lot were well rested if you didn't have work to do. But any which way, the weekend is the weekend. There's always this thought behind it. So basically, like I said, bid you warm welcome to the bar. If you're just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. And for people that are not joining us for the very first time, welcome again. It's going to be a very interesting day because we're going to be talking about a lot of things. Interestingly, the petrol queues are not going anywhere around in Nigeria, and NNPC seems to have an excuse for it. Do we agree with it? That's another conversation. But they seem to have an excuse with it. There's a conversation around Nigerian children and the DNA. That looks like this conversation is not going anywhere anytime soon. Excuse me. And President Tinubu and seems to be an overthrow plot around it. There are quite a number of issues with, would I say diplomatic issues with Nigeria that we'll get to talk about, and that and a lot more things. There's a bit of sports here and there as well. Of course, updates from the Paralympics as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show. And I will not be here alone. I'm here with Shala Rogers. So let's get right into the show.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day. How you all doing out there? It's always a pleasure to be at the bar. Thank you for joining us. And if you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. That would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, so we're going straight into it as the NNPCL has admitted that they are owing about $6 billion to petrol suppliers. That's why there's no fuel.
We always knew that there was a story behind their story. A couple of weeks ago, I can say months now actually, there was a flood. There was flooding in some parts of Lagos, Nigeria, and they claimed that was the reason why there was not enough fuel supply. We knew it was all those kind of
Hocus pocus.
So, but they came and I said, okay, fine. The flood will abate, the water will go away. And since that time, it's been one story after the other. And this is how you destroy trust. If there was any trust between Nigerians and the government or Nigerians and the NNPCL, this is how you destroy it by yourself. Just keep telling us different stories for the same problem. Then eventually, you will now come and tell us part of the truth. Then you think everything goes away. In between that time, there have been protests here and there. There have been people saying all sorts of things. And a lot of Nigerians are just being quiet and, holding it back. Their anger, their pain, their frustrations and all. These policies of the government are meant to, take Nigeria away from where it was with the subsidy regime to a better place. It's supposed to free up funds. It's supposed to make petrol readily available. Let me clear my throat in petrol readily available. It's not. And the NNPCL kept coming with stories. I've been I've been avoiding saying it fully, but I've been saying it quietly. We have been saying it, that there's subsidies to some funny subsidy. Do you understand? Now, for those who say there's no subsidy, this is why I say there's subsidy. There is no way, based on the value of the market forces, talking about the dollar rate, and that the landing cost of petrol will be less than 568 naira, that the NNPCL is selling it at the pump in Lagos. It's just not possible. The only way that is possible is if they were refining locally and the cost is lower. However, refining locally is another story entirely. So as it stands, there is some, but what they've done, because some people say, okay, so if there was subsidy, how come the government has more money to share and save? Yes. What they've done is to stop the other subsidy where every claim is paid and everybody had access to it. It's more about the NNPCL, more or less offsetting it with their own, income to prevent the thing from going high. But in the process of doing that, I believe that it has put a strain on the NNPCL.
Yeah.
And that strain is why they cannot, do some of the things or meet their obligations. Now, there is actually nothing wrong with the line of credit. It's actually a standard practice, especially in oil and gas, but in other businesses too. Some of you have done supplies before now where they will tell you, to go and wait for 90 days or 60 days. But the NNPCL should have just been upfront with Nigerians. That a part of our profit is going to this basic J get, and we're also owing some people, and we would offset it, But here we are, $6 billion deep in debt, or debt, as the case may be, and still no fuel. The worst part about this no fuel situation is that it's not like the other scenarios where they'll tell you in 2 weeks' time that there'll be fuel.
We don't even know when.
Or 48 hours. This one is that if Dangote refinery does not start to sell PMS, we might not get PMS.
So there's a lot of talk that Dangote refinery is about to start. There's a lot of talk that Port Harcourt refinery is about to start. You notice that every time Dangote puts up a date, the Port Harcourt refinery decides to put up a date as well. And so there's this thing that they're both doing.
A sibling rivalry.
However, please just start. We don't even care at this point. People just need, because I've always said it, we can't be buying fuel this expensive and still be queuing up. It just doesn't make any sense.
Another decision that they decided to enforce, I know it's not a new rule, so I'm not going to talk like someone that doesn't know, is the refusal of filling stations to sell fuel in jerry cans. Everything that has a pro has a con.
Yeah.
We get that. But the thing is, you stop selling fuel in jerry cans, but a lot of people don't own cars. A lot of people don't own motorbikes, and they need fuel for their generators and other things that are driven by, like the woman that grinds pepper now needs petrol. The vulcanizer.
Yeah, I'm sure that the idea of not wanting to sell fuel to people in kegs is born from the fact that the idea of what's it called now? Okay, the idea of black markets and all that to reduce, which makes sense. The problem with that is that, like you said, the people that actually need these things, we do not have a system where everything is run by power. we don't have that kind of power.
But
People have to have alternatives.
As it stopped the black market, did the black market stop getting supply?
I think that it has not stopped. However, I think it has reduced.
Quite contrary to what she says, I totally disagree with her. Now, that's the only way people get fuel now. The people will sure pass now. If you want to buy fuel, if you're in Lagos, it's to drive down the Ikorodu Road. And those boys, I'm not encouraging you to do it, but you will see them there. Those are the people that have fuel. So where did they get it from? And it's in jerry cans still. So I get you trying to enforce this no jerry can thing, but hey, what's going on here? Where are these people getting the fuel from?
Anyway, I think that at this point, the NNPCL needs to not give us an excuse. I think at this point, they need to give us a reason. Not a reason now. A solution. Let me put it like that. There has to be a solution. A typical Nigerian does not care whether you are owing this or you are owing that. You should have sorted all those your accounting issues before. So, with the NNPCL, the petroleum minister for oil, there's a petroleum minister for oil, yes. There needs to be an explanation and there needs to be a solution in the nearest future. It just doesn't make any sense.
Mr. President is the minister for petroleum.
There's a minister of state for petroleum for oil. There's one for gas.
Mr. President is the overall minister.
Yeah.
He should come and address the people. That's the minister. He can not, he should, don't worry, don't address us as president. Mr. Minister of Petroleum, Oil and Gas or whatever his designation is, come and tell us the solutions to these things, because I fear, you see, apart from that choreographed, structured protest that happened that led to a lot of chaos, I fear a spontaneous one. I'm afraid that there's something that sparks interest that leads to such breakdowns, and I don't want it. In some countries, it was just bread. And people had enough and they hit the streets. And we see how these things happen. I'm afraid that Petrol carries the same kind of power in Nigeria, if not more, seeing that everybody, virtually everybody needs petrol in Nigeria. So the president needs to do something and do it very, very fast. I am worried.
Okay.
I'm afraid.
Moving on from that quickly, there's a very interesting report that has now said that, you know what, before we even go to that, because that's going to take quite a long time. Now, Serap has now sued the Senate President and the Speaker of House of Representatives for fixing National Assembly running costs by themselves.
Okay, can you explain that? Because I don't get what that means.
Oh, so apparently there has been an upward review of the running costs for the National Assembly, and Serap is now suing them for, according to them, maybe they're like an arbitrary increase in the National Assembly running costs.
Yeah. Serap, I would like to find out how many cases those guys
My question is,
institute in a year.
if they don't do it, according to the law, who's supposed to? It's just a very curious, what's it called?
But I would still like to find out how many cases Serap has in court.
I don't know.
However, if it is true that they have breached any law whatsoever, yeah, thumbs up on the case.
That's what I'm saying.
I hope it brings us some form of succor.
Anyway,
but if they haven't.
Anyway, moving on from that, interestingly, court has now remanded End Bad Governance protesters in Kuje and Suleja prison. So there are a number of people that were arrested during this protests. That was the beginning of August, the 10 days of rage, which I think was like 4 or 5 days. I don't know. Depending on one day, depending on where it was. But however, a judge of the Federal High Court in Abuja has remanded 10 of these protesters. 9 of them have been remanded to Kuje prison as the male, and then the female has been remanded to Suleja prison. They fixed September 11th for trial and ruling on bail application by protesters. They're alleging treason, mutiny, and intent to destabilize Nigeria.
These are very serious allegations. But does this law apply to people online too?
I don't know.
Seeing that some people online too might have breached one or two of these laws. But whatever it is, though, I see a scenario where there might be some innocent people in the mix.
It's very possible. However, there's been a few issues. Amnesty International has said that they're condemning they're calling it a sham trial. They're saying that these people decided that they're depriving these people of a right to peaceful protest. And this is where my issue comes from. I have two things. One of the reasons why I think that a lot of times is not everything that protest solves is because once in between this mix, there are always people that are always just looking for trouble. And then in between that, there are people that are now jam-packed with them, and innocent or guilty at this point, you will be moved together. Number two thing I was going to say is I would like to know the headquarters of Amnesty International. I'm not saying that what they're saying is out of place. However, they seem to get, okay, don't let me say the word that comes from my mouth. They seem to get a rise, or, a rise in blood pressure. Let me put it like that. And a movement in a lot of blood flow to a certain area when it comes to Nigeria. I'm just saying. In the past few weeks and months, we have seen the kind of things that people do. A lot of these NGOs or these pressure groups, there seems to be a lot of we kind of know the end game of some of these things. I'm just saying that I'm wondering how come there are a lot of protests happening across the world, and there are a lot of apparently this year there's actually been a lot of protests. In fact, as we speak, there is protest happening in Israel.
In Canada?
Yeah. Oh, the Canadian one has not ended.
There was some protest. I'm talking about that.
Oh, yeah. I'm saying as we speak today, there's protest in Israel as well. So, protest seems to be a thing that is moving around like wildfire. I'm waiting for Amnesty International's talk on, and there are thousands of people that have been arrested. Trust me, a lot of people that have been arrested.
What I agree with your point is that it always seems that a lot of these agencies only just focus on Africa, and certain African countries. But when similar situations happen in saner climes, they don't see it. They're blind to it.
Yeah, that's my own. Put the same energy. It's the same energy, man. That's it for me. But however, they are saying that these people have been remanded in jail. So when you want to protest, be coming down the kind of things that you protest. I'm just saying. I will not be there. See, content is fragile, but seems some people have hard shells. Anyway, still talking about this matter, the Nigerian police has now declared a British national, Andrew Wine, and a Nigerian, Lucky Obiyan, for allegedly plotting to overthrow President Tinubu. The first spokesperson had announced this, saying that the British national, they're alleging, or he was accused of building a network of sleeper cells to cause chaos and topple the government. They're saying that they had also sponsored protests to use to destabilize the country, basically.
This is how at times you just get used without you knowing it.
In fact, the interesting part, there are also parts of which I now remember, I think now is making sense with Labour Party. They're saying that this person rented a space at the Labour House in Abuja.
It's just space now. It might not be.
That's what I'm saying. So it could be one of the reasons why the police is onto the Labour.
That's why they raided the place. Whoever raided or whomever raided the labor house in Abuja. Maybe that's why they did what they did. You know, like you said, it makes sense now that, this is how it went down, or this is how it's going down. No matter what happens in Nigeria, please let us not be part of the people who will be used by foreign entities, because they also have their ulterior motives. This particular person, I hope that they'll be able to extract some information.
So, according to the police, this said Wino Andropovich and his local coordinator, the Nigerian, is said to have fled the country. But he's been declared wanted, and there's a global hunt for them.
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping that they'll be able to extract stuff when they get them. Because I have a feeling that with the help of the police network, the international police, Interpol, they'll be able to, I almost said MOPO, okay, international police, yeah, Interpol, that they'll be able to track these people down and actually find out who sent them.
Who sent them. Now, still talking about arrest and Nigerians. Remember the gist of the lady that we spoke about last week here?
Oh, yeah, the invisible Canadian
lady.
Nigerian.
I don't think she wanted to be invisible. She had said that.
She said she can't be arrested.
And now?
That's invincibility.
No.
That is immunity. That is everything.
That's invincibility.
So I can loosely refer to her as invincible, because it's people that cannot be broken now. You are invincible. Yeah.
So basically, she went on, said she's Canadian, so nothing can happen to her. That Nigerians are very shallow thing. However, it is the Canadian police that have now arrested her. She was arrested yesterday. She's supposed to face the judge today, and there are quite a number of allegations against her in Canada. Yeah.
So even by Canadian laws, she could end up doing about 2 to 5 years based on her utterances online. Now,
but if she does 2 to 5 years like that, wouldn't she now, after that, be sent back?
No, if she has a Canadian paper, she won't be sent back.
Oh, they can't cancel her. I'm just asking.
It hardly ever happens, though. I'm not saying it's not that it doesn't happen, but because she already has it and she got it in a legal way, except there is a clause. Maybe there's a criminality clause that says, if you ever get into trouble, we're going to send you back to your country. But if she doesn't have authentic papers, she's going to be repatriated. They're going to deport her straight to Nigeria.
After jail.
Yeah, or they can even sign a deal and say, just bring her. Don't waste your expensive space. Send her to Nigeria.
Honestly, I think that we all need to be careful the kind of things that we do. I'm not like, or the kind of things that we say. I do not condone anything that she said. However, in a fit of anger, there are things that people might say and might not necessarily mean on that scale, or might not even have the wherewithal to actually do some of the things that they're saying they want to do. But you want to sound like you're sophisticated. You can, some of these platforms, you just probably give you some ginger to be able to, you just want to say some things, whether it makes sense or not. But people need to be careful your utterances. You cannot say some
It's
things.
important that you don't just go online. Now, the sad thing about this Amaka lady in Canada is that there were a lot of people egging her on, like, just go.
I personally think all those people also need to be arrested.
Yeah, but the sad thing is not all of them are in Canada, so
it doesn't matter.
You need to track down which countries.
A lot of people. We need to see. I know that social media is good, but for even your own sake, now, if this was maybe a phone call to someone maybe 10, 15 years ago, or even 20 years ago, on landlines and all that, a lot of these things would maybe not even pass a certain number. However, I think that it's kind of dumb. You say the things that you're saying, very implicating things, and you are now saying it in public domain. Make it make sense. How do you want to hatch your plan when everybody has had the plan? I'm not saying that your plan is good. I'm just saying that, how does it make any sense if you go online to now threaten people? The people that you are threatening can hear you. They have you recorded. Make it make sense.
Yeah. So again, now the people who were ignorant, they said they're going to help her get lawyers and stuff. But there was a particular guy that was saying, look, don't fold. We're going to get lawyers. The guy has deleted the tweet.
Don't fold.
From the look of things, she's most likely going to be on her own.
Please, even if they're going to get lawyers, which is okay, everybody deserves representation. There are going to be, there are cases that even lawyers will tell you that. There are cases that lawyers are the ones that would advise you to take a plea deal.
Yeah.
Because there's no way out. I don't have to be a lawyer for that audio. Twice, 2 different audios, 2 different ones.
Yeah, even when people
already puts your name as a timestamp, your name, your voice. Like, what defense do you want to have? You were drunk?
Even when people went to her TikTok and they were telling her stuff, she went back the next day to say, look,
that's what I'm saying.
That she's not afraid, that nothing's going to happen. That do they think that Canada is like Nigeria?
Okay. Which, that makes it worse. Because that means that you're alleging that there is a rule of law that works perfectly in Canada. And you are breaking the law in Canada.
I know. She said that Canada has rules.
Make sense.
Canada has rules. That is not like Nigeria.
So it means that you are most likely going to jail.
Well, she will plead the lack of knowing that it was a criminal offense, or it was a punishable offense.
Ignorance is not.
Can you not ignore the ignorance and just allow her go? Just let her go one more time.
Okay. Anyway, let me move on from it. What shall I do? Let me just be going. The Katsina government house, in this time of no fuel, their fueling station got burnt today. In this time of no fuel.
I hope no lives were lost, man.
I don't think so. However, I'm just saying, in this time of no fuel, should a fueling station be getting burnt? That means that's a lot of fuel burning, wasting. Just putting it out there.
And I hope it's not arson, though.
I don't know that one.
I didn't say it was.
Anyway,
I hope it's not.
Edo State has confirmed there's 1 mpox and 8 suspected cholera cases in the state. They're ramping up a lot of health safety measures and all that. So people just need to be careful, please. At this point, the first things first, and I think that basically works for a lot of diseases, maybe except STDs, is cleanliness. Cleanliness helps a lot. Washing your hands, keeping yourself clean, keeping your environment clean, so that there's a lot of so-called these animals and rodents and all that are not around that carry some of these diseases around. Watch where you eat, where you put your hand, all those basic things.
Watch how you eat.
Basic things. People just please need to be careful, really extra careful when it comes to these things. Now, speaking about Edo State, I wanted to talk about something that happened over the weekend. Where we will say in Yoruba, they say that you feel owo kekere gba nla, meaning that you use your small hand to collect big hand, or you get for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. However, it means that the reaction is what you cannot quantify because it might not be equal.
Yeah, you don't know how to, except you are really very good at studying people's behaviors. You don't know how people will react to certain things.
So you might be wondering what I'm talking about. So over the weekend, Mrs. Obaseki, who is the first lady of Edo State, honestly, that's the first time in almost 8 years that I won't say ever knew. I knew that there was a first lady, like ever seen her in the news or anything. Of course, it's election time. So she was at a rally, a PDP rally, and of course trying to garner support for the PDP candidate, Aswe Godalo. And she made a statement where that all the other candidates in other parties, other gubernatorial candidates, do not have wives at home. That is only Aswe Godalo that has a wife, and this is his wife, and all that. And she used it to ramp up support. However, Senator from, is it Edo North? I think he's from Edo North. Former governor of the state and also the former NLC president. I just wanted to put out a bit of his CV.
A bit of aluta.
Who never to be caught or wanted. Ijawa Ijausi, always guiding. Senator Oshiomhole was having an interview and they asked him about the statement that Mrs. Obaseki had made, saying that part of one of the people that she was making fun of was the APC candidate who apparently, I think that he's no longer married. Senator Oshiomhole now went on and brought a machine gun or a bazooka to a knife fight and said that she's alleging that somebody does not have a wife at home, but she, that is someone's wife, does not have children. However, their candidate has a lot of children who he has invested in all his life, his own biological children and other children, and how he doesn't see how husband and wife in their 60s do not appreciate children and why they do not have children. Or maybe it's a contract that they have, they are not married, and he went on and on and on and on. Now, a lot of people are talking about how what he said was a lot, and that, especially in our society, it's kind of an insult to kind of, it's seen as an attack to mention the childlessness of a woman. It seems like a very huge insult, which I agree. However, don't we think that, or SRM, I'm asking you, don't you think she started it?
I don't even need to think. I saw the video of her on the campaign ground, on the stage, calling Edo women to order and telling them how only their own candidate in the PDP, that's Asue Godalo, is the best for the job, and that he has a wife. I think they even brought his wife out on stage and all of that. And you start to wonder, like, whoever said that was a prerequisite for good governance?
We have a reverend father who's never been married.
Never.
That is a governor. Now we have precedents. Like, you don't need, it's not a criteria. Because I know a lot of people talk about how people get married to get into politics, or people that are not married yet, they quickly tell them to get married to get into. It's something that a lot of people do. However, since we have a reverend father that is a governor, meaning that it's not a prerequisite. In fact, according to the law, which I know that it was a lot during the first term of President Buhari, I don't know why he changed it all over again. There is actually not an official office for the First Lady. It's just ceremonial. However, there are offices and all sorts of things.
Yeah, there's no office, but in Aso Rock there's office. So there's a particular office.
That's what I'm saying, that there are offices even in states.
So there's no office on paper, but there's physical office. So I'm just saying, First Lady have
remember, remember even President Buhari decided to change it in the second term. Maybe only God knows what happened. That he was told that he better bring the office back.
So I think Mrs. Obaseki, started it, like everybody knows. But why is having a wife a prerequisite to good governance in Nigeria?
Same way, why having children?
So what happens to the ones who have plenty wives?
That's wrong.
Does that mean they are more, professional when it comes to governance? Because if one wife is the bone of contention, there are people who have 5, 10, 20.
There are people that have quite a number as governors. And there are people that don't have at all. Meaning that someone that's never been married would most likely not have children.
So
at the end of the day, what does that have to do with anything?
But also, Senator Adams Oshiomhole, I think he went too far. I think he went overboard. I think it's extremely low to have done what he did. But I understand it, but it doesn't make it right. It really doesn't make it right. The story about some of these candidates is that life happened to them. Not like
Yeah.
it was not like they were never married. You know,
Actually, they all were married. Now that I'm thinking about it.
it was
Even
not like
the
they
Labour
were.
Party
Yeah,
presidentials.
they were all married. So, and again, when did marriage become a prerequisite to good governance? What Edo people, I'm sure, what they are concerned about is who's going to be the best governor yet. you know?
Exactly. So my question is the same way marriage is not a prerequisite is also the same way children aren't a prerequisite.
It shouldn't be, and it won't be. But
I'm
I think,
ju- I'm
I
just
think,
saying
I think,
that.
I think what Senator Adams Oshomole had done was to go lower. Like they say, if they go low, we go lower.
Yeah.
You know, but nobody wants to hear this. They go low, we stay higher up.
I say you turn the other cheek. I know that it might sound harsh or mean. However, it's something that I say a lot. I'm sure a lot of people that know me like, don't start something you cannot finish. Don't. That's it. A lot of people might not like it. He might think that he said too much, which I don't think he said.
I think he said too much.
Because what's our criteria of saying too much? Whatever she said can also be categorized as saying too much.
I think he said too much. I think they both said too much. I think they
Exactly. That's it. Do you understand? They
they
both crossed the line.
They made unnecessary statements.
So the minute you start something, somebody else might decide to turn the other cheek. Another person like Senator Shomole say, you don't feed me, I'm going to say what I'm going to say.
Dangerous though.
Anyway, so we'll see where all that drama is going to. And speaking about children, a very interesting report decided to surface saying that 27% of children born to Nigerian men are not theirs. And this is a conversation that has been going on for a couple of years now. Basically talking about
Paternity fraud.
This has been going on for years. I'm sure that in fact, I'm even surprised that this conversation is just happening right now, or this so-called report. But there's really been a lot of talk about. I'm not surprised when I saw this. I'm like, okay, now. There is, I think this was basically a leading DNA testing center that decided to put out this report that they did a comprehensive 2024 report on DNA testing trends in Nigeria between July 2023 and June 2024. So they're saying that there's a lot. And, it's interesting. We might say that, okay, what is the parameters and all that? But I remember my cousin used to work at a testing lab at a point, and it's like that at least once a week. There were always people fighting.
Paternity fraud.
There was a particular day he came from outside and he was all dressed because he went for a meeting. However, a father had come to him thinking he was a doctor. And then followed him to his office and was trying to explain to him that he needs to tell his wife because he has had a vasectomy. The wife didn't know, but he was also alleging and accusing the wife of paternity fraud. Now, obviously, the children are not his. He knows, but there's also the angle where he didn't tell the wife about the vasectomy.
It's a strange relationship that they have. The vasectomy is a big operation, in quote. So it's hard for you to have done that and didn't tell your partner.
Exactly.
But man probably had his suspicions from the get. And like, you know what?
Oh, he would have now, because if he had a vasectomy, the children cannot be mine. You can't get pregnant.
So that's the thing about it. So we're not going to blame. The man is the victim in this story that Don told.
He is.
You know?
How?
Because it's the one that spent his entire life raising and loving other children as if they were his biological children.
So he should have said it from the get. So everybody is deceiving themselves. So it's not everybody's. So according to them, they're saying that this result means that 1 in every 4 children do not belong to their fathers.
That's
massive.
That would be devastating.
That is actually like, when you think about it like that, you know, when you hear 27%, you don't really, but when you now like put it in perspective, it's very mind-blowing.
It's crazy though, if we go with this. I know it's some kind of random sampling and everything. And this also speaks to the promiscuity of the women, like it's on the rise.
Yeah, they're saying that, of course, because 1 in 4 men tested, and what showed a lot of this thing is that the immigration test, the jackpot trend that increased, now had to also increase the trend of people having to do paternity tests and all that.
Okay, so honestly, why women do this, for the life of me, I would never get it. I was watching one of those court videos, and this, of course, is an American one, and this particular woman went off on a partner and how she's sure that, you know, in fact, the judge was like, "You're so sure that he's the father of the child?" She said, "Yes, that 2 children, he's the father." And the guy says, "Look, that he has his doubts and everything." She shouted him down and everything. At the end of the day, everybody knows that story. It wasn't. The guy said, "Well, I said it," you know, and that he could move on. But the woman was not like, and she knows the father. Wait, in the same court, you're already saying you don't know.
So you knew the father. So why were you lying?
You won't pin him on the Mr. Mugu.
Why were you lying?
So a lot of men are. I don't have a problem with raising a child that your partner has, and you know that, okay, you just met this person and she already has a child, and you're okay with it. But the bad part is when someone's partner steps out, male or female, and comes back, acts like everything is
you kosher. Know, the sad part, the sad part for me when it comes to those things is that we all know that everybody cheats. However, the evidence for cheating most of the time only falls on the woman, because only the women that get pregnant.
Yeah, you're talking about pregnancy, not evidence in general.
No, yeah. Like the very obvious evidence to everybody is pregnancy. Now, because you are most of the time on the receiving end of these things.
Of what? What are you on the receiving end of? Please be very clear with your words.
Because of that. You cannot just be going about, which I know that things happen and people are not okay with relationships they're in. No, it's not a crime. It's not by force. Cuckoo pack out now. Like, it's not. Why do you need to go through? How do you sleep well at night?
Is to have your cake and eat it now.
That's me, Sha. That's me.
Like, honestly,
how do you sleep at night?
This has wrecked a lot of people, especially the men who have been at the receiving end. This has put a strain, and it also affects the trust. Mm-hmm. And now the trust that is eroded is not just between him and his ex that has lied to him about the paternity of children that he thought were his, but it affects his next relationship too.
Yeah,
because he starts to doubt,
major doubts.
There's a generalization. Oh, all men are this. All women are that.
There's a lot more psychological issues with that, and I think it's completely unfair. Really, I honestly think it's unfair. I don't know what to do to say, because as we prefer solutions, I don't know what kind of solution that there is. Or maybe the test that is done when you give birth, they should make DNA part of it. Honestly, I saw that a lot of women, well, I know this conversation happened a few months ago, and on social media, a lot of women were saying, no, it's not right, it's not this. See, it's not hard. If before you got pregnant, you only had one partner, mm-hmm. DNA test or not, it's not going to change anything. Do you understand? If your hands are clean, go ahead and do it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know why people would be angry that people want to do DNA test. It should be a thing.
And that's why some people will even do it secretly. Like they pick
Do you understand? Like,
stuff in the house.
it shouldn't be a big
toothbrush.
deal. In fact, as they born the child, please do the DNA test quickly. Let's know where we are going from here.
But it's so sad though that every time the statistics comes out, it paints Nigerian women in a bad light. Because paternity fraud, man no fit commit am.
Yes, now that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, there cannot be another way to it. So truly, some people don't even know because they say women know who they give, but some people don't know because at the same time probably have multiple partners. Now that calls to the question of why do you have multiple partners at the same time? It doesn't make any sense.
And why are you not protecting yourself?
Anyway, moving on from that, there's still quite a number of things I want to talk about, but since we're talking politics, just want to put it out there that the APC won all the local government election seats in Kebbi State. The usual.
I wish that all the local government elections be scrapped and INEC conducts fresh local government elections across Nigeria. What a day that would be.
We'll see. We'll see how that is. Now, moving on from that quickly. Just wanted to put it out there since we're talking. Maybe we should quickly move to a bit of sports. There are quite a number of things that we want to talk about. I think it's official that Napoli has approved a deal for Victor Osimhen to join Galatasaray on loan until the end of the season.
Yeah, it was never going to be a part of their plans. Conte, the new coach of Napoli, had made it very clear. He wanted Lukaku over Osimhen. And there's no world that you can compare both players based on current form. In the past 2-3 seasons, Osimhen is heads and shoulders above Lukaku. But, of course, there was something about Conte. Now, we all knew that the only other thing was Monday where a few other windows were open. And yesterday, they actually did make an announcement that his name was not even on their team list. So there was no way back for him.
He's not working, so there's no point.
But people blame Osimhen, talk about his attitude, his outburst and whatever. But this man had a deal with this club. They prevented him from activating all the interest that he courted last season. And he stayed loyal. And what did he get? So this is it for people at times why some people would pick, their business or their own career over any employer or whatever. Look at
not even someone that has done so much for the club in just a very short time.
They had not won the league since Maradona's time or something.
About 30 years, and then he came and kaboom. And you would think that person should literally be an idol, but it is what it is. I don't want to believe so, but a part of me feels it's shrouded in racism, though. Now, anyway, and then Chelsea comes and wants to... I know everybody's talking about he should have gone to Chelsea and all that is better for his career, but there's been a lot of reports of the peanuts that Chelsea was going to pay him. The honest truth is, staying in Napoli, he would not have played ball till the end or maybe till January, but he will still be getting what he's getting paid.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it's money. Everybody's looking for money. So now the Galatasaray has agreed to cover about 9 to 10 million euros of his salary until the end of the season. So Napoli still has to pay.
At the end of the day, Osimhen doesn't lose out.
He doesn't.
He didn't get his big payday by way of signing, but at least his salary is going to be guaranteed.
Yeah, he still gets his same salary and he's still going to play.
And he will play, and I think Gala will probably be playing in Europe too. And all of that, which will also put him on a better pedestal and show the people what he really is about. I'm actually impressed that with all the big money moves to Saudi Arabia, he did say no. Because if he had said yes, there would be no need to be going to Ghana.
Yeah, there would be no need. Now, talking about that, Super Eagles camp are open and about 9 players are said to now be in camp ahead of the AFCON 2025 qualifiers.
Yeah. Here one moment, gone the other, talking about the curious case of the coach that never was.
Yeah, that's I was going to get to immediately. Please explain to us.
Mr. Labadidi.
Stop doing that. Don't do that.
That's his name?
No, Labadia. For people that do not know, we're talking about Labadia.
And that one too, you can call him that too.
However, However,
so Bruno gets a deal with the Football Federation, and of course they've concluded and all of that, and it was going to be whatever. And in their schoolboy excitement, they went to town. You know, we have a coach. He's going to resume on Monday. But the one. He has approved this list and that list. They came with history of 37 coaches, 6 German coaches in history.
They did.
All of that. Turenchi. At the end of the day, Mr. Bruno, this is according to the Nigerian Football Federation, Mr. Bruno now tell them, okay, no, that even this salary that you are paying, that you people are shouting, you are still going to pay about 30% of it as German law, because you know that when you collect money, you have to repatriate it to Sena Climb. And the financier, you didn't tell us this one now. We are just going to pay you. We pay you the money, agree? You go and pay your tax for your money. The guy say no.
No.
Say how now? That because I'm any more than your president does not mean that I should not earn more after that. You know? Because I'm any more than anybody in your country, because of 11 men kicking football about.
Which is not a bad idea. However, my only issue with it is that how come what's their name? NFF did not settle all these things before they went to town, because I think that is so ridiculous. It is such a very ridiculous thing. And now the Austin Eguavon, which if I'm correct, he was sent away now. He used to coach the Super Eagles at some point.
So Eguavon works with them as a technical director and everything. And most times in a structured football environment, when this kind of things happens, it's the technical director or something that the job falls back on. Let's be happy that this time around it is still Eguavon who is actually a proper coach. In some instances in this country, technical director in Nigeria at some point were not. Let's leave that one. So I didn't say it. So the thing is that let's see it as a rescue mission on Eguavon's part, because how many people are just going to be willing to
take up the job?
Yeah.
Talking about taking up the job, now they have also now called on Rangers coach Fidelis Ilechukwu and Rama Stars coach as well, Daniel Ogumodede, to be assistant coaches for this short period. Can you say that they're great picks?
2 amazing young men, young coaches, fantastic human beings. And not too long ago, Fidelis Ilechukwu was coaching the MFM team of Lagos in the NNL, in the lower league. And then he went somewhere up north, then he found his way to Rangers, then he won the league. Do you understand? Look at Ogumodede, bringing Remo Stars from being a feeder team or a small team to becoming a team that's playing on the African continent. So look at both of them. These are people who are actually hands-on coaches. They are practical. They are young, and they are very bold and outspoken. So I like the idea that they get a chance to cut their teeth at the national team level.
Okay. So we'll see where all that is going to. Moving on from that, quickly, let's go on to the Team Nigeria that is at the Paralympics. Nigeria has gotten the first medal, and this is the person that we'll be talking about for days. And Eniola Bolaji has won a bronze medal. However, she's not just that first one in Team Nigeria. She is the first African ever to win a medal in para badminton.
Yeah, and she's highly ranked in the world. And at some point, I think she was ranked number 2 or so. She's really grown, in leaps and bounds through, the ages and all of that. Very young lady, well-behaved, good character, hard-working. And, she was just trashing everybody until she got to the semifinals. And sadly, she now lost in the semifinals. And there's a video of the Minister of Sports, John Eno, consoling her and encouraging her. And she had to now pick herself up.
Oh, she did.
And played in the classification match for the bronze medal, which she won.
And it was verve. It was all the anger, man. It was fantastic.
It was a beautiful thing for Nigeria.
Yes.
As at this morning, we're finally on the medal table as number 60 in the world, tied with 2 other countries, but we're number 60.
We're on the medal table. These
And
ones are on the medal table.
The other uncles,
and they've just started.
The other uncles that are aunties that did not win anything. The 9 billion.
You are going to go there.
9 billion.
We're moving on from that. We're moving on. We are.
I love them, but you see, my Paralympians.
Let's be going
on fire.
Now, moving on from that quickly. Interesting is an update. So remember, Nigerian artist Krane. We had talked about how he was arrested by.
Sorry, before you go, so that we don't go back to it. A Nigerian Faith lady, she finished 7th in the shot put, sadly missed out on medals. But there's a Kayode Alabi that is now, we've lost about 2 or 3 players in table tennis, but there's a Kayode Alabi that not too long ago now made it to the quarterfinals. It's looking very good.
It's looking good,
for us.
That's
so now beautiful. To entertainment.
Now, so a bit of background. So Krane had said alleged a lot of things against Davido. He got arrested one way or another for a week. However, a social media influencer, I don't know what to call him, decided to come out and even had talked about how he had begged. Verydarkman is on good terms with Davido. How he had begged Davido to please release him and all that. So he got released, and the videos. And he, according to the video he now made today, saying that he had even written a statement that Krane needs to apologize so that all these things can just be settled. However, he said Krane decided to delete some things out of it and then post whatever he wanted to post, and saying that he would have looked like a coward if he had posted that statement the way it is. And all that, and even a policeman had come to his house. He had invited, explaining to Krane the allegations against him and how the charges are not dropped yet, that he's just been released on bail and he could still go to court and all that. And he had said that he was not going to apologize, but that with the findings they had done, he did not have evidence to the allegations he made. Now, Verydarkman is saying that he is officially washing his hands off anything that has to do with Krane, and that he should go and meet Davido in court.
Well, go to court. At least lawyers will earn their pay, and the entertainment writers and gisters will gist the gist. You know. But there was already some kind of contrite attitude coming from him. It was showing that he was sorry and all of that. We talked about that, I think, on Friday and all of that. But hey, if he feels too big or that maybe he probably has something, so let's allow him, But if he doesn't,
like I said, I honestly think that if he feels so strongly about it, he should go ahead, go to court. Whatever comes out of it, well.
Congratulations. Jubilation.
Well, anything that comes out of it. Now, quickly, let me just run through a few things before we go. Like we had talked about earlier, the massive protest happening in Israel after the death of 6 hostages that Israel found in Gaza. Very, very sad one. The bad weather is still not alleviating around the world. As they said, about 25 people have died after torrential floods in southern India. Wild weather has also hit Australia. There's been confirmed death of 1 woman and about 120,000 others without power as well.
I don't know. I don't know what to say.
You don't know what to say about that. Anyway, it looks like on that note, that is all we'll be able to take today on The Bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of The Bomba. Do have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.
Be careful what you say online.